Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Addicted to Angling. As you can see, yet again today we're carp fishing. This episode we've come all the way up from Ipswich up to Bluebell Lakes near Peterborough. Now, hour and 45 minutes drive. We arrived at 7 o'clock this morning. It's now about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Haven't done any filming up until now because I've been just completely getting everything sorted, everything spot on. I want to bite, I want to fish from this lake, so I've really been focusing on what I've been doing. Now the way it works here is you turn up at 7 o'clock in the morning, gates open. Before you do anything, you go to the reception. You go into the reception and they give you a sticker to put on your bucket. Now what you do is you then walk the complex, looking at the lakes, and then when you find a swim that you want, you then go leave your bucket in the swim. That is then your swim. You go back to reception and you tell them whereabouts you're fishing. Now obviously with carp fishing, as you well know, you cannot decide really where you're going to fish before you actually do go. But we had it in our minds that we wanted to fish either San Martin or Mallard, and luckily enough we've got our Mallard. We walked around the back of the lake. The wind, as you can probably hear, I'm not sure if it's showing up because I've got my old mouse on the mic. We're on the teeth of the wind here. It's hammering across this lake. The fish are going to be following that wind. The fish are going to be over here. I know that already because there's been a 27 come out a few pegs up from me. There was a 45 come out further down. You know, there are fish over here. While I was spomming earlier, I found my spots, led it around for a little while. A lot of weed out there, but there's also some very silty and gravelly patches. And what I've found is I've got a weed bed, another weed bed at the back, and between that there's a channel. I've got both rods in that channel, only 6.5 wraps out. I was speaking to people when I was walking around the lake and they were saying the fish are coming out very close in. 6.5, 7 wraps. I've got one 6.5 wraps. It's where this channel is. You know, my rigs are sitting there. My rigs, I've cast them out, I've twitched them back, I've wound in, I've cast back out again. There's no weed there at all. So they are sitting perfectly where I want them to be. I've got 4 or 5 spoms over each rod at the minute. They're both sitting beside each other, not too far apart. And I've spommed out. I've got a load of Parker baits, 18mm OG fruit and nut, 14mm fish, covered in flat spot and OG fruit and nut, the sauce. And I've also got some pellets which I used ages ago. They're discharge baits, bee juice pellets. They're honey, they're fruity, they're going to go with the fruit and nut absolutely perfectly. So I've spommed out 3 spoms of that over each spot as well. While I was spomming the pellets, I had fish bosh right where I was spomming, so the fish are down there. I haven't had any twitches yet. I've had a couple of bleeps, but at the end of the day that could be weed. As the wind's coming across, it could be weed just touching the line. You know, the bobbin didn't move really very much. It was just literally a couple of beeps. So I'm waiting until that line screams off. It's beautiful here. It really is. I mean, we've just had one of the bailiffs come around. He's done a rig check and a ticket check. That's the first time I've ever been on a day ticket water and I've had a rig check, so I'm very impressed with that, to be honest with you. They make the rules for a reason. The rules are being followed. The bailiffs are checking. So like I say, it's gone past midday. We're here for 48 hours. I'm hoping for a fish. PBs could be smashed here today. You know, I mean, Tony's is 24 and mine is still only £19.14. So PBs could well be broken. There, I believe there is a 50 common in it. I might be wrong, but I do believe there is a £50 common. But there's also 40s, 30s, lots of 20s. You know, if you're gonna get a half decent fish, this is one of the places to go. It is rammed though. It really is. End of school holidays. I was expecting it to be pretty empty. Kids have gone back to school, but it is absolutely rammed. I mean, luckily when we turned up, we were second in the queue to get into the car park. But there's been people turning up all day. I've had people asking me if I'm moving and I'm like, mate, I've literally only just turned up. I'm going in 2 days time. So 48 hours to nab a chunk. Let's see what happens. Well, I believe it's now about 3:30. Not a lot's been happening. Seem to have a gang of Asbo swans running amok in this place. Only down this side. They keep coming over causing grief. I was laying there half asleep a little while ago and all I could hear was beep, beep, beep. Jumped up thinking, yeah, I've got a liner. Nah, Asbo swans in the lines, moving around the lines, pecking them about. It is what it is. Haven't seen much more come off this lake today, to be honest with you. Haven't had any alarms go off, haven't seen many more fish come out, so I'm thinking it might be a nighttime, morning time sort of bite on this lake, which I'm hoping for. Like I say, got my rods out, both rods tonight. I'm using the Parker Baits Wafters. Match the hatch dumbbells, 14mm, OG fruit and nut. They smell absolutely lovely. Bang on the Parker Baits stuff at the minute. If you haven't seen them, internet Parker Baits, and also YouTube channel they got, Parker Baits YouTube. Their bait is absolutely fantastic, it really is. It's a bait I've now found I'm sticking with, and those wafters, I'm hoping they do the business tonight. I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but all the little crumbly bits around the outside, which must, you know, as they sit in the water, they must break down, they must come off, you know, they must put more particles in the water column, which can only be a good thing. Now, I've made a brew. Get the Addicted to Angling mug in there. Oosh, had this made the other day. Not selling any merch, I just like getting stuff. Like, I had a jumper made as well, hoodie made especially for this. Royal Mail strikes, end turned up, but at least I got my mug. Anyway, made a brew. I picked these up in Aldi, which I believe are going to be Biscoff rip-offs. I have no idea. They are delicious. But the wind is biting, you know. We had that massive heat wave a little while back. I actually went to Suffolk Water Park, 24 hours, cracked a video out, didn't complete the video. Don't get me wrong, everything up to the video was perfect. You know, Tony lost a couple of fish, the fish were there, he had a tench, it was looking bang on, but the double swim we were in was peg 31. There's no shade, it's just open to the elements. 8 o'clock in the morning, you know, night in the bivvy. The day before we'd sat in that sun all day, there was no shade. I could feel heat stroke coming on. Tony could. Tony weren't feeling it either, so we just packed up and left. You know, it was looking good for a bite though. So I binned that video. That's why there hasn't been one for a little while. But like I say, here at Bluebell now, I've got a feeling it's looking good for a bite tonight. I really would say it is. It's ripples on the water. There's some rain predicted, you know, there's wind whipping across. Everything to me is looking more carpy than it has done the last few weeks of all the heat we've had. They've got to be getting their heads down, they really have. Speaking to people around there's been a lot of fish boshing over this side at night, so yeah. Oh, funny you should say that, I just looked over and there's fish boshing in the weed next swim over from mine. So yeah, again, they are here. You know, that looked quite a chunk as well. You know, that came out, you can see the flank of the fish. That looked quite a nice fish. So like I've said before though, there's plenty of 20s, plenty of 30s in here. PBs could be smashed, and if they are smashed, I will bring the video. You know, you will see the video. Me and Tony, could be done, but we'll see what happens. But obviously I've touched on rigs and stuff and spod mix. I'll go through that a little bit later. Left hand rod I will be repositioning because I'm not happy with where it is, but I'm not going to do it yet. I'll put some fresh bait on and reposition it later. You know, it might nick a bite in a minute. I'm just not feeling it. I'm looking at it and I'm just thinking, you know, right hand rod is bang on. Right hand rod is smack bang on the money. That to me, if a bite is going to come, that is perfect. That left hand rod, something don't feel right about it. So I will bring it in later and I'll go through my rigs with you then. I'll show you my spawn mix as well. Stick some more spawns out before bed. But yeah, let's hope it turns on, and let's hope these chunks come on the feed, find my bait, and I can bring a nice big fish for you on camera. I'll come back in a bit. Bit of a sit rep. It's near 6 o'clock at night now. I've got fish boshing all over my swim. It is looking good for a bite tonight. Bloke next door has got fish boshing over him as well. They just seem to be in this area. Tony next door, he's had them topping about 2 rod lengths out. You know, you're talking 2 foot of water. So he's now baited up close in. He's going to put a rig, when it starts to get dark, lay it down on the silty clay patch that he's found there. But as I was talking about earlier, thought I'd show you the rigs I'm using, because I've literally just bought in my left hand rod. Wasn't too happy with the way it was sitting. Thought I'd bring it in, to be honest with you. Change it over before dusk comes, and then I'm going to spom some more over it, and that'll be me done for the night. So rig wise on this rod, what I'm using, I've got a length of tubing, obviously anti-tangle tubing, and then I'm using a turbo German rig. Now, perfect for wafters. It's got a stiff boom on it, 2 ounce lead, safety clip obviously for the lead drop off if it gets stuck, and to this I've got a size 4 aggressively cranked hook, and using a bait screw, and for that I'm just sticking on a 14mm wafter, and I'm going to put this back out there where the fish have been boshing. Like I say, they're boshing all around the baited area, so get a rig out there now, then when it starts to turn dusk, hopefully the fish will bite. And this is really nicely balanced. It just sits above the hook like that, you know, wafts around, as it's called, a wafter at the end of the day. Fish will take it, there's no weight there, hook will go in the fish's mouth, and as soon as the fish turns to leave, bosh, straight in the bottom lip. Hopefully away we go. Alarm screaming, fish on, hopefully a fish in the net, but we'll see what happens. And then obviously with this, because I don't actually know if there's any weed out there, you know, I've found a lovely clear spot, but there is strands of weed out there. So around the hook end, I'm literally just squeezing on a bit of foam, so when it hits the water, the foam will sit up in the air, and as soon as that dissolves and pops off, that will lower that down beautifully. That is the plan anyway. Already wrapped this rod up to 6.5 wraps. Let's get it out there, get it on the spot, and let's see if we can get a fish in this evening or overnight. Right, one thing I will say is when you're fishing wrapped up, make sure you know where you're casting from, and you cast from the exact same spot every time. If you're too far back, too far forward, you're literally not hitting your spot. I know that I am casting from my back bang stick. Where I'm standing, back bang stick, that is where I'm casting from every time. Spomming, where I'm casting from when I'm casting my baits out, that is where I'm going from. So let's get this rod out and let's see if we can get a fish. I don't know if the camera picked that up, but as I cast that out and it hit the water, probably 10 to 15 yards to the left hand side of that, a fish rolled. Now they're in here, there's no two ways about it. Am I tempted to spom now? I'm gonna have to spom. I need to get that bait out there and then let it settle into the evening dusk time. I don't want to be spomming at prime time, because Some people say it attracts them like a dinner bell. Some people say that it scares them off. Now, I'd rather get it done now. As the light fades, the bait's there, there's no disturbance on the water. Bosh. Hopefully get a fish. Right, as I said, rod's out. Now I'm going to start spomming. Don't know if you can see that in there. In here, I've got 18mm OG fruit, 14mm OG fish, OG fruit and nut sauce, flat spot over it as well. Get it out there. Flat spot will obviously create a nice oily slick on the bottom, up through the layers. The sauce creates a cloud in the water, brings the fish in. Let's get these spoms out and let's see what happens. As you can see, it's now getting dark here. It's around about 8:30. It's looking good for a bite. The wind has completely dropped off. Absolutely flat, calm water. Haven't seen any fish bosh for a little while, but I've already, like you saw earlier, put some more spoms out over the bait. Hopefully it can get a bite. I've been looking through the pictures and a lot of the fish that come from it seem to be nighttime bites, so yeah, hopefully it's looking good. I mean, Tony's set up in the other swim. Hopefully he'll get a fish as well. Like I say, PBs could be smashed tonight, so we will see. First night here, got another night after this, so come on the fish. Hopefully we'll see a nice scaly banger or a lovely common carp. But some of the fish in here, commons, this complex is famous for its commons, and there are some absolute stunners in here, so hopefully one of them will grace the net. I'm going to do some food in a little while, so I might come back on and show you the food that we do. If not, I'll come back on during the night if we get fish. What can I say? Very uneventful night. Not just for me, for a lot of people on this side of the lake. It just hasn't kicked off. The fish were over it, the fish were topping. You know, a lot of boiling last night, a lot of boshing out. Nothing whatsoever. I woke up this morning, sitting there looking at it. It's a very silty bottom, so you know, it's muddy, it's stodgy. You move about, there's a lot of cloud of sediment. The sediment moves very easy from what I've seen, so change of plan completely. I have gone on to washed out Parker Baits OG fruit and nut boilies, which I've trimmed down and I've stuck on spinner rigs, mainly because I want something to stand out against that silty bottom. The wafters are good, you know, the wafters are working, but if those carp are moving around, even a slight cloud in the water, because they're a darker colour, those wafters, that visually they're not going to be picked out. Obviously they'll have the scent on them, but visually they're not going to be picked out, so I have literally gone on to washed out pink pop-ups. Hopefully that will nick a bite with the, you know, the pop-up standing out against the sediment. and it will show up more visually during the day. And obviously they have got a lot of scent on them, but I'm going to coat them in flat spot before I go to bed tonight and re-put them out. Not spotted anything out. I put a lot of bait out last night. I've not seen any fizzing, I've not seen any more movement over my bait, so I'll probably leave it until about midday before I start putting any more bait out, because I don't want to absolutely fill it in over the spots. Recast them out. Positioning of the rods is good. Right hand rod's exactly where I want it. Left hand rod may have gone over a couple of feet away from where I want it, but I'm literally talking a couple of feet. And I know I had a couple of wayward spoms that, you know, the spoms don't always go exactly where you want them, so there is bait down there. Yep, just been to the car. Tony, bless him, made sausage and bacon sarnies. Been to the car, had my baby wipe wash. Anyone out there who knows about living in the field, baby wipe washes, you don't need a shower when you're carp fishing, you know, just baby wipes, bosh, 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 wash it over, get into all the nooks and crannies, clean as a whistle, don't smell anymore, clean t-shirt on, happy days, well away. Yeah, obviously I'll come back later on today. I needed some sugar when I woke up this morning, and luckily I found out I had a bottle of Iron Brew in the car, which I forgot about, so cracked this open. I woke up and I really needed sugar. I felt quite dehydrated despite drinking quite a lot yesterday. So let's crack on. 48 hours here, obviously 24 is now done. Another 24 hours now to grab a bite. Let's hope it happens. You know, I'm confident, I really am confident I'm going to get something from here in the 48 hours I'm here, so let's see. These little buggers have been causing problems for Tony and me all night and next door to me. Lovely things, but I tell you something, they do like to clear an area out of bait, as people well know, and they're proper Asbo swans. First thing they did yesterday, they literally swam up to me at the end of my rod tips and just started hissing at me for no apparent reason whatsoever. Absolute psycho swans, and like I say, they do love to clear an area out. Luckily, I'm fishing out deep. Tony was fishing shallow last night, and in the end he had to move his rod because they were absolutely obliterated him, and that was just as it was getting dark. I thought they'd have disappeared, but they didn't. Lovely things, I do like seeing them, but proper attitude problem, these boys, they really have. But look at the lake, it's absolutely flat calm, slight, well I say absolutely flat calm, it's not like a mill pond, slight ripple on it today, totally different from yesterday. Yesterday the wind was kicking up and that was running across there, and there was actual waves coming off it, you know. It was like a bit like being at the seaside, but today it's calm. But the problem is, even though it's calm, I've seen no fizzing, I've seen no boshing, I've seen no signs of life. So after a heavy downpour last night, I'm not sure whether it's just, don't know, whether the fish have gone a little bit dormant for a little while or what. Hopefully today will produce. Obviously still got both my rods there and there together in that sort of area. I'm just aiming for the end of that tall tree on the left hand side. You know, I'm getting it in the right spot. There's a lot of bait down there, so hopefully it will produce today. Just thought I'd come on and give you a little bit of a sit rep as to where we are at the minute. It's nearly 6 o'clock on the Thursday night. Few liners today, it's been totally dead. I haven't done any recording really. No point, went for everything yesterday with you. Maybe done a little bit of B-roll, that's about it. What it is, I changed over at lunchtime to trim down Parker Baits fruit and nut pop-ups, just to try and see if I can mix it up a little bit. I'm going to leave them on spinner rigs tonight. And food wise, I thought I'd just come on because jumbo pizza's just arrived. Double beef, onion, and mushroom. Absolutely delicious. Delivered to the gate. Can't grumble about that. You obviously have to go and get it. Delivery driver said they're not allowed into the actual complex itself. But to be honest with you, it's a jumbo pizza. I think it's 16 inches. Well happy with that. So I'm going to eat this, and then I'm going to sort out my rods, spom a little bit more mix out, me done for the night. Hopefully tonight we can actually pinch a bite. There's a nice bed of bait out there, plenty of attractant for the fish to bring them in. Just hope they come in, they find that boilie, find the pop up, smash it, and I can just nick at least one fish from this 48 hours, but we will see. Anyway, I'm now going to disappear. I'm going to go and finish this pizza, and I will speak to you later. Well, that is the last night done. Not very productive at all, if anything, to be honest with you. 4 o'clock this morning I got woken up by a savage liner. That is literally all I've had all night. It's about 20 past 7 in the morning now. Everything is packed away bar the rods. Last knockings that I will be winding them in, but it is what it is. Not great. 2 blanks on the drop. That's fishing. Sometimes you hit a little low patch and you just have to keep fishing away until you get yourself out of it. Don't give up, just keep cracking on, edging forward, and sooner or later you will absolutely smash it. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to leave that there. I'll definitely see you in the next video. Like I say, there should be some sea fishing content coming soon. Carp fishing content will keep coming out as well. There'll also be some coarse fishing content coming out. Now it's getting a bit more wintry. I'll be going for the perch and other little species like that. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe, and I will see you on the bank very soon.